into our box drill. So again, we're going back to our first foot, which is our right foot. Now it stays completely stuck to the ground itself. Imaginary box in the hand, and all we're going to do is step our left foot back, take the box towards the ground. Now the leg stays completely straight here, the knees quite close to being locked out here. Now as we come back, the weight should be on the outside border of the heel. Don't allow the big toe to lift up, keep it down. And as we step forward, we're going to really push towards the ceiling itself. Keep the heel down, okay? So this point here, the weight on the back leg is going to be through the big toe. And as we transverse back, it's going to be through the heel itself. We've got 2 minutes each leg here. So keep working through the range. Keep it as active as possible, reach as low as you can, and then come through and stretch. Down we go, keep the breathing nice and regular. Keep it quite dynamic, but be quite deliberate. So slow it right down, and then step right through. Closing the hip joint down, but opening the ankle joint up. And then open that hip flexor up, closing the ankle down to dorsiflexion. So plantar flexion of the foot with hip flexion and knee extension. And then we're going to have hip flexion, opening the hip up, knee extension and dorsiflexion of the foot. But more interestingly enough, we're going to have supinated front foot, pronated back foot, and we're going to have a pronated back foot and a supinated front foot. So we're working between all sorts of different movements here. When you come back here, push the hips and accept the weight into the hip itself. And as you step forward, I want you to tuck the hip underneath as well. So we're really getting a good co-activation of that gluteal and a stretch of the hip flexor. 30 seconds. Good work. Be attuned to what's happening at the foot as well. So we should go on the heel, outside heel, transfer forward to the big toe. Zone 1, zone 2, zone 1, zone 2, 3, 2, 1. Switch over. Now the left foot is completely stuck to the ground. The right foot is going to be the one that moves forward and backwards. So again, we're going to find ourselves with the box, step back, step forward. And you might find the range is a little bit less to start off with here, especially at the hamstring and especially the hip flexor. But we're finding our heel, zone 1. We're finding the big toe, zone 2. Zone 1, zone 2. Really opening out plantar flexion, really closing down into dorsiflexion. So we're working ankle range. We're then going to find we're working knee terminal extension. You'll also find as well you're working depth of the hip. In order for the hip to work, in order for the hip to stretch, you have to take it through as much range as we can. So really push the hip back here. Sit back into the hip and then really tuck that pelvis underneath. And the reach has to be good both directions. So reach as far as you can. Lengthen the shoulder and lengthen the shoulder here. Try not to bounce on the movement. Be quite consistent through it. Good job. And if you feel that you're moving well, start to change the angle that you're stepping forward onto. You can leave that for another day itself. Just now, focus on straight forward, straight back. Zone 1, zone 2. And I want you to get used to that phrase, zone 1, zone 2, And think about when you're walking, when you're standing, when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, brushing your teeth. Which zone am I in? Perfect. And our last drill today is going to be our